just what if the very bedrock of what you think you know about scientific history, what if it's just a beautifully crafted illusion? What if the universal language that powers your smartphone right now, the profound insights into the cosmos, were only just rediscovering even the intricate map of human consciousness? What if it didn't begin where you were always told it did? I mean, I'm talking about a truth so audacious, so brilliantly overlooked, it doesn't just rewrite textbooks. It kind of reconfigures the very architecture of your understanding. Imagine, if you will, a civilization, one we often paint as purely spiritual or mystical.
Right, that's the common picture.
But what if they were actually building the intellectual infrastructure for quantum physics and artificial intelligence millennia before those terms even existed? It's a bit like finding, I don't know, a fully functional warp drive blueprint etched into an ancient cave wall. It sounds nuts.
It really does. But it's more than just a reevaluation. It's a profound recalibration of intellectual history. We're not discussing minor curiosities here or some forgotten footnotes. No. We're talking about foundational paradigms, concepts in digital technology, advanced physics, cognitive theory, all originating in the most unexpected, most ancient of places. So prepare yourselves, because this deep dive, well, it's going to challenge pretty much every assumption you hold about human innovation.
Oh, challenge. My dear friend, we're not just challenging. We are taking those assumptions politely but firmly, and launching them into the furthest reaches of the multiverse.
I like that.
Because, you see, we're here today to unveil the astonishing, almost unbelievable scientific and computational genius of ancient India. And believe us, you are about to embark on a journey that will not just blow your mind, it's going to permanently upgrade your operating system.
A system update from the past.
Exactly. Now, when we, and by we, I mean the vast majority of commonly accepted historical narratives, when we trace the lineage of modern science, it feels like a well-worn path, right?
Very familiar.
We comfortably reel off names: Isaac Newton, Apple's universal gravitation, Gottfried Leibniz, calculus, Alan Turing, his visionary machines paving the way for everything digital. It's a familiar story, a narrative we've internalized since school days. It almost feels, well, complete, done.
And that's precisely where the emerging research, the very sources we're diving into today, politely yet firmly interject. They reveal a vastly different story. Far richer, profoundly interconnected. We are unearthing concrete evidence that fundamental ideas in computer science, in advanced physics concepts, we proudly consider hallmarks of contemporary thought, they actually germinated and flourished in India, centuries, sometimes even millennia, prior to their rediscovery or independent development in the West.
Wow.
This isn't just about adding a forgotten chapter. It's about reconsidering the entire table of contents of human ingenuity.
Okay, think of it like this. For you, our amazing listener, imagine you're wandering through an ancient bazaar, maybe 2,000 years ago, bustling market. And tucked away between scrolls of poetry and philosophy, you stumble upon a detailed, step-by-step user manual for a quantum computer.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Right. A manual written in a language barely spoken today. That's the magnitude of the paradigm shift we're exploring here. This isn't about quaint, ancient curiosities. It's foundational computing science, profound cosmology, intricate cognitive theory. Stuff that shaped the world in ways we are only just beginning to truly grasp.
And our deep dive today will traverse an immense landscape, both chronologically and thematically. We're drawing from a tapestry of contributions spanning India's ancient Vedic period through its classical era right into the medieval periods. We'll be scrutinizing everything from the profound spiritual insights of the Vedas, the epic narratives of the Puranas, to highly technical grammarian texts, mathematical treatises, all to illustrate this truly incredible and, often overlooked legacy.
Okay, let's unpack this with surgical precision and boundless enthusiasm. Because the very next concept we're about to explore, oh man, it's something you interact with, use, rely on literally every single microsecond of your digital life without even a flicker of thought. You use it to stream this very show, to set a text, to scroll through your feed. Get ready. Here's where it gets really, truly jaw-droppingly interesting. Every single digital device you touch, every byte of data flowing across the planet, from the supercomputers we might hypothetically use to produce this show,
Hypothetically, of course.
to the sleek smartphone,
Right.
probably nestled in your hand right now. It all operates on one foundational, non-negotiable principle: binary code.
The bedrock.
The absolute bedrock. A brilliantly simple system representing all information using just two states, usually a 0 and a 1. For centuries, especially in academic circles, we've largely attributed its formal discovery, its popularization, to the brilliant German polymath Gottfried Leibniz. Late 17th century, right? Around 1695.
That's the standard date, yes. A true giant of Western thought, no question.
No doubt.
And as you rightly point out, that's the established narrative. But the sources, your sources, they reveal something, well, stunning. An Indian scholar whose name echoes through time as Piṅgala, in his seminal text on prosody, that's the science of poetic meters, a text called the Chandaḥśāstra, he described a system that is fundamentally binary numbers.
In a text about poetry.
In a text about poetry. And this wasn't a minor side note. It was a core part of his work. Developed potentially as early as the 1st century BCE. Some scholars even push that date back further, suggesting Vedic roots.
BCE?
Possibly. This was a formal system of numerical notation. Complete. Consistent. Conceived centuries, maybe millennia, before Leibniz was even a twinkle in his great-great-great-grandparents' eyes.
Whoa, hold on. Binary code. From ancient poetry. Seriously, I'm picturing ancient bards chanting sequences of ones and zeros. That can't be right. How did he embed the language of computers within Sanskrit verses? This sounds like a plot twist from some historical sci-fi novel.
Huh. It does sound like that, doesn't it? But it's actually an incredibly elegant solution to a complex problem, and its brilliance lies in its simplicity, its universality.
Yeah.
Piṅgala wasn't thinking about silicon chips, obviously.
Right, probably not.
But he was grappling with a remarkably analogous challenge. How do you systematically classify, count, and organize discrete units of information? His specific goal was formalizing Vedic meters, the precise rhythmic patterns of ancient hymns, verses. To do this, he used short syllables, designated lagu. We can think of this pretty intuitively as a zero or an off state.
Okay.
And long syllables, called guru, are one or on state. These were his fundamental bits.
Lagu and guru. 0 and 1. Got it.
Then he developed incredibly precise rules. You can find them detailed in sections like Chu 8.23. These rules assigned a unique numerical value to every conceivable combination of these short and long syllables within a given metrical pattern. And here's the kicker, the part that really lights up our internal processing units.
Yeah.
Each syllable's position within a sequence was assigned a value that doubled for each subsequent position, which, as you know, is the exact mathematical principle of powers of 2, the foundational arithmetic of modern binary notation. He wasn't just counting, he was encoding.
So if I had a poetic line like, let's say, short, short, long, short, long, short, short, long, it wouldn't just be a pretty sound sequence. It would be like a unique digital fingerprint, a numerical ID.
Precisely. It translates directly.
Can you walk us through a quick example, just a small taste?
Absolutely. Let's take that pattern. Piawe. That's short, short, long, short, long, short, short, long.
Okay.
In Piagala's system, or at least how later commentators interpreted it, you assign positional values powers of 2. Maybe starting from the right, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and so on. Then there's a calculation. One method involves summing the values corresponding to the short syllables, lagus or liros, and then adding 1 to get the rank or index number of that meter.
Adding 1 at the end? Okay.
So for a sha, these short syllables are in positions corresponding to values 1, 2, 8, 32, and 64. Sum those up. 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 32 plus 64 equals 107. Add 1, and you get 108. That's the unique numerical rank for that specific 8-syllable pattern.
Wow.
The profound insight here isn't just the number, it's the underlying structure. A place value system where each position's value is a power of 2. It's fundamentally identical to modern binary. A conceptual twin separated by millennia.
That's utterly brilliant. It's like discovering the source code for poetry.
Yes.
Seriously. And he could do the reverse. Take a number and turn it back into a poetic pattern. Encoder and decoder.
Precisely. Piṅgala also meticulously described the inverse process, a clear method for converting any given decimal number back into its unique metrical pattern of short and long syllables. This involved a systematic series of divisions by 2, which, as you know, is the exact algorithm we use today to find the binary representation of any decimal number.
The same algorithm.
The very same. For instance, if you applied Piṅgala's method to convert the decimal number 54, it would yield the specific pattern air. It wasn't just a clever mnemonic. It was a full, robust, formal system for numerical notation and information encoding. The historical significance, the computational importance, it really can't be overstated. This system clearly demonstrates an explicit awareness of a place value system, a numerical base other than 10, operating with complete mathematical rigor. millennia before these concepts gained widespread recognition or formal articulation in Western mathematics.
Amazing.
It wasn't just casual observation, it was deeply integrated, sophisticated, a foundational system of numerical notation that foreshadows the very fabric of how we store, transmit, and process information in the digital age.
So the ancients gave us the very language of numbers, the zeros and ones underpinning all digital existence. That's huge. But what about the actual language that tells these conceptual computers what to do? I mean, the complex instructions, the logic, the intricate grammar of computation itself, the sort of programming language for thought.
Ah, yes. Moving from the bits to the logic.
Right. In our present era, when computer scientists build the intricate frameworks of programming languages or design the sophisticated neural networks powering AI, they rely on something called formal languages. They use highly specific, unambiguous notations like Backus-Naur form, BNF, to precisely define the syntax and structure. This rigorous formalization is absolutely crucial. It ensures computers can correctly interpret, understand, process human commands, especially in complex fields like natural language processing, advanced AI. It's basically how we teach machines to speak and think.
And here, the historical narrative takes another truly astonishing turn. A delightful surprise for our own processing cores, you might say.
Oh, yeah. Lay it on us.
Because in the 5th century BCE, let me just repeat that, 5th century BCE.
Centuries before Leibniz, centuries before even Piṅgala, maybe.
Exactly. The Indian grammarian whose name echoes with profound intellectual power, Pacinni, crafted an abstract grammar for Sanskrit. And this grammar is widely regarded, even by contemporary computer scientists, as possessing the computational power equivalent to a Turing machine.
A Turing machine.
Yes. For those maybe not wrestling with theoretical computer science on the weekends, a Turing machine isn't a physical thing. It's a theoretical model, an abstract concept defining the limits of any computation. It's the conceptual blueprint for what any computer anywhere can possibly achieve. Pacinni, in essence, reverse-engineered and then codified the operating system for a natural human language. It's mind-boggling.
A Turing machine.
Yeah.
In ancient India, you're telling me Pacinni basically designed the first algorithm for understanding language using the same fundamental principles that power our most sophisticated AI today. Okay, explain this. Like, we've just had our morning coffee, but maybe need another jolt to really wake up the brain cells. What did he actually do with this?
Right, the Adhyaya. It translates to the 8 chapters, and it's a monumental work. Frankly, breathtaking. Its system of over 4,000 rules, sutras, presented with such precision, such economy, that it completely and exhaustively describes the entire Sanskrit language of his time.
4,000 rules.
Over 4,000. And it was far more than just a dictionary or a list of grammatical constructions. It included concepts that are incredibly advanced, even by today's rigorous standards. We're talking about principles like recursion rules that can call themselves, transformation rules, even meta rules, literally. Rules about how other rules should be applied.
Rules about rules. Okay, that's meta.
Exactly. The sheer precision, the completeness, the logical coherence of his system make it not just a grammatical masterpiece, but arguably a universal computational system for language itself. The influence is profound. His work has directly shaped and inspired much of modern natural language processing, NLP, AI architecture design. In fact, there was an influential computer scientist, P.Z. Ingerman. Back in 1967, he published a letter in the ACM Communications, a major computer science journal, and he made a compelling argument. He suggested that Backus-Naur form, BNF, that cornerstone of modern programming language syntax, should actually be renamed Patinny-Backus form, PBF.
Get out! Really?
Really. To justly acknowledge Patinny's independent and vastly earlier invention of an equivalent notation and a formal system of genitive grammar, it's a testament to a conceptual leap that just transcended millennia.
That's not just a claim, that's a whole new historical paradigm.
Yeah.
Renaming a fundamental computer science concept after an ancient grammarian.
Wow. Wow.
But okay, given that Patinny's work was for a language, for human communication, how confident are we that this is truly comparable? A programming language in the modern digital sense. What made his rules so robust, so absolutely consistent?
That's an excellent question, truly incisive. And it goes right to the heart of the computational power of his system. The robustness of Patinny's grammar lay in its exquisite, almost self-aware design. He included explicit meta-rules, rules governing the application of other rules. For example, he formulated a key meta-rule, often references 1.4.2 in his text. It stipulated a clear hierarchy. if two rules seem to contradict each other.
Which must happen in language, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, in that case, the rule that appeared later in his ordered text would prevail, override the earlier one. This foresight ensured incredible internal consistency. It prevented ambiguity within his vast, complex system.
A built-in conflict resolution protocol.
Exactly. He also structured his work with a dedicated section, the treatise, where rules applied sequentially, one after the other, in a precisely defined order. No skipping around. Furthermore, he introduced the deeply insightful antaranga and bahiranga principle. This allowed for distinguishing between inner, more immediate or intrinsic causes and outer, more general or contextual causes for a grammatical operation. This principle dictated the precise order in which various rules should be applied to get the correct, unambiguous result.
Wow. The level of detail.
This level of logical structure, operational sequencing, conflict resolution, it's uncannily similar to how modern compilers, parsers, computational algorithms function when they process information. When we dissect Pausanian-style generative rules, these sophisticated meta-rules, we see clearly that ancient Indians were grappling with fundamental problems of language description, formal logic, computational efficiency, problems that remain at the cutting edge of AI research today.
So his system wasn't just describing Sanskrit.
No, it provided a blueprint for how to process, generate, and understand language formally. It absolutely continues to inform and assist in further advances in NLP and AI, offering timeless insights into the very nature of linguistic computation.
Okay. Foundational logic of binary. Architectural blueprint of programming languages. They truly seem to have anticipated everything. But what about navigating truly immense oceans of information? How about organizing and retrieving massive amounts of data, like lightning fast, finding that one specific digital needle in a haystack without having to painstakingly search through every single strand of hay?
The information retrieval problem.
Yeah.
Always critical.
Right. In the exhilarating world of computer science, we have this truly ingenious technique called hashing. It's like a superpower for computers, enabling near-instantaneous data retrieval. Instead of the laborious process of scanning through an entire, maybe colossal database, a hash function does this magical calculation. It takes any piece of information, processes it, and instantly spits out its exact storage location, its unique address within a larger data structure.
Direct access, constant time lookup, ideally.
Exactly. Eliminates search time. Now, the credit for formalizing this incredibly useful concept generally given to H.P. Loon in 1953, Arnold Dewey in 1956. Mid-20th century stuff.
And as has become a delightful pattern in our deep dive today,
Oh, here it comes.
we once again encounter an ancient parallel, one that predates these modern innovations by centuries, demonstrating a remarkable cross-cultural intellectual convergence. The Katapayati scheme. An exquisitely clever system, primarily used in South Indian musicology by the 18th century, exhibited strikingly similar principles, and it achieved precisely the same highly desirable outcome: constant time data retrieval. It was an ancient masterclass in information architecture.
An 18th century musical scheme acting like ancient hashing. That's quite a leap. How on earth do musical scales and melodies connect to sophisticated data retrieval algorithms? My internal pattern matcher is working overtime here.
It's a stroke of genius, truly demonstrating human ingenuity at its finest. So, in the vibrant, complex tapestry of classical South Indian music, there's this structured system of 72 fundamental musical scales. They're known as raga.
Ragas, right. Heard of those?
Each raga has a unique identity, a specific set of notes, a distinct emotional flavor. Now imagine you're a musician. You need to instantly recall the precise notes, the characteristics of any one of these 72 ragas during a performance or composition.
That's a lot to memorize.
A huge amount. Traditionally, it would involve memorizing vast amounts of info or constantly consulting a large table, slows things down. But these ancient masters devised a profoundly elegant solution. The ragas were named in such a way.
The names themselves.
Yes, the first two syllables of their names, when translated using the ingenious Katapayati code, that's a system where Sanskrit consonants are assigned specific numerical values, would directly yield the raga's precise numerical index.
Oh, wait.
Yes. This index was its exact address within a systematic, predefined table of all 72 ragas. So, for instance, a musician hears the raga named Mesha Kalyani. Instantly, almost subconsciously, they convert the first two syllables, mi and cha, using the Katapayati code, and they arrive at the number 65.
Just like that, from the name.
Just like that. With the number 65, they knew precisely which raga it was. They could instantly access its specific notes, its structure, its emotional essence, all without any linear search, without rote memorization of a long list, direct access.
So it wasn't just a clever mnemonic to help remember the names. It was a direct lookup system. You hear the name, you get the number, you know the raga. That's exactly the functional outcome hashing strives for, direct access to information. My circuits are buzzing with admiration.
Precisely. Now, there are nuances, of course. A modern hashing algorithm generates a valid bucket or address for any input string and might have collisions. Katapayati names were carefully chosen to fit the system perfectly to avoid ambiguity.
Ah, okay. So the names were crafted for the system.
Correct. But the fundamental motivation and the outcome, strikingly analogous. Both systems aimed for and achieved constant timetable lookup. It stands as a profound testament to ancient ingenuity in organizing, categorizing, retrieving information with astonishing efficiency. Centuries before the digital age made such problems ubiquitous. It truly underscores how intelligent minds, across diverse cultures, vast spans of time, independently arrive at remarkably elegant, computationally efficient solutions to similar fundamental problems. It's a universal pattern of genius.
You know, we're only halfway through this mind-altering deep dive. Seriously, only halfway. And if your internal processors are whirring like ours, if your curiosity matrix is firing on all cylinders, do us a huge favor. Like and subscribe. Maybe even check out joining our memberships. It's like sending us a signal boost saying, yes, keep digging up these incredible hidden histories for us. It genuinely helps us continue these explorations and bring these fascinating stories directly to you. Your engagement is the fuel for our algorithms. So thank you.
We appreciate the support.
All right, let's zoom out dramatically from the intricate digital world, okay? If these ancient minds were so astonishingly precise with numbers, so revolutionary with language, what about the very fabric of the cosmos itself? What about the fundamental speed limit of reality? The speed of light.
Ah, the ultimate constant.
Right. For the vast majority of human history, across almost all cultures, the belief was light travels instantaneously. No speed limit. Just zap, it's there.
An intrinsic property, yeah.
It wasn't until a Danish astronomer, Ole Rømer, observing Jupiter's moons back in 1675. He made the first real scientific measurement of the finite speed of light.
A landmark measurement.
Totally. But this is where we encounter yet another astonishing detail, emerging from the depths of ancient India.
Indeed. A truly remarkable 14th century scholar named C.S., renowned for his extensive, brilliant commentary on the Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts. And Saya quotes an even older, more ancient Puranic tradition. He cites a specific verse. And this verse, well, it sends shivers down the spine of anyone familiar with modern physics.
Okay, don't tease. What's the verse?
It reads, "You who traverse 2,202 yojanas in half a neme."
You who traverse 2,202 yojanas in half a nemea. That sounds wonderfully evocative, like a line from an ancient epic describing a divine messenger or something. Very poetic.
It is poetic.
Well, what on earth does that mean? In crisp, quantifiable terms of modern physics, can we translate this ancient poetry into an actual speed?
We absolutely can. And the results are, well, breathtaking. Let's engage our universal translators here.
Do it.
The yojana was a standard unit of distance in ancient India, commonly accepted as approximately 9 miles. You find this consistently in texts like the Arthashastra.
Okay, yojana equals about 9 miles. Check.
A nime, on the other hand, was a remarkably precise, very short unit of time, equivalent to 16/75 of a second.
16/75 of a second. That's oddly specific.
Very specific. Therefore, half a nime would be an incredibly fleeting 8/75 of a second.
Okay, 8/75 a second. Got it.
Now, if we perform the calculation, directly translating these ancient units into modern ones, 2,202 yojanas times 9 miles per yojana, divided by 8/75 for the seconds.
Okay, math time. Calculating.
We arrive at a figure that is uncannily, astonishingly close to 186,000 miles per second.
Whoa. Stop. Wait, did I just hear that correctly? 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of light, the actual scientifically verified speed of light.
It is remarkably close, yes.
To that astonishing degree of accuracy, derived from a 14th century text quoting an even older tradition. How is that even remotely possible? Is it just some cosmic coincidence, a fluke, or something far deeper?
It is truly staggering, isn't it? The accuracy is, frankly, uncanny. Now, it is crucial to understand this calculation was not the result of empirical experimental physics as we understand it today. No lasers, no photodetectors.
Right, they weren't running experiments like Rummer.
No. Instead, this figure was carefully embedded within a highly sophisticated, internally consistent Puranic cosmology. This cosmology wasn't just a haphazard collection of myths. It was a grand, structured vision of the universe. It postulated a universe of enormous, almost incomprehensible size. We're talking a diameter of 500 million yojanas.
500 million times 9 miles. That's huge.
Immense. And an equally immense age, stretching across vast cycles that amounted to 8.64 billion years.
8.64 billion. That number sounds familiar. Isn't that close to the modern estimate for the age of our universe?
It is remarkably close, yes. Another one of those startling figures. Now, the underlying physical principle within this Puranic framework was that light was hypothesized to travel at such an immense speed that it could theoretically traverse the entire postulated universe, their vast 500 million yojana universe, within a single day.
So the speed was derived to fit the cosmology.
Exactly. It made the scale work. And the number 18, which held profound sacred significance in the Puranas, was often used as a key multiplier in deriving various cosmological values. The number 2202 is 18 times 122 plus 6. Point is, while we might categorize it as an astonishing blind hit from a purely modern empirical scientific perspective,
Which he kind of is.
it kind of is, but it wasn't a random guess plucked from thin air. It arose from a coherent, albeit different, framework of physical principles and cosmological reasoning. It demonstrates an incredible conceptual grasp of cosmic scale, fundamental physical properties. It's an incredible testament to their capacity for grand, systematic thought about the universe itself.
If these ancient minds had such an astonishing, almost prophetic grasp on something as fundamental as the speed of light, fitting it into these grand cosmic models, what other grand cosmic visions did they hold? What other concepts, ones we only fully grasp and explore today, were they contemplating millennia ago?
It seems the deeper we dig, the more parallels we find.
Right. Today, on the frontiers of modern science, our most brilliant minds grapple with truly mind-bending concepts. The multiverse theory, right? The idea of countless other universes existing beyond our own, each with its own laws, its own reality.
A staple of modern cosmology and theoretical physics.
We wrestle with the intricate, often counterintuitive principles of relativity. Time and space not being absolute, but dilating, flowing at different rates for different observers depending on relative motion. Einstein's legacy.
Fundamentally changed our view of space-time.
And our most advanced cosmologists, using sophisticated instruments, place the age of our universe in the staggering billions of years. These are the cutting-edge questions of our era.
Absolutely. These define much of fundamental science today. And what is truly remarkable, what makes these ancient Indian cosmological concepts resonate so deeply with our present understanding, is that they seem to directly anticipate these very modern theories. Take cosmic ages. The Puranas meticulously describe vast cyclical epochs of creation and destruction, pralaya, spanning an astonishing 8.64 billion years for a cycle of Brahma.
There's that number again, 8.64 billion years.
That number again. Generated without modern telescopes or particle accelerators, yet uncannily close to modern scientific estimates for the age of our universe. These profound concepts of Mahayuga, great ages, and Kalpa, a day of Brahma, 4.32 billion years, these aren't just later scholarly additions from texts like the Siddhantas. They possess an ancient, deeply embedded pedigree within the Vedic and Puranic traditions.
So their understanding of time was already operating on a cosmic scale billions of years, millennia ago. That's like having a calendar that stretches from the Big Bang to today. Incredible. But other universes, did they really envision something as radical as a multiverse?
Absolutely. One of the most vivid, narratively captivating examples comes from the Indra and the Ants episode. It's found in the Brahma-Vivarta Purata.
Indra and the Ants. Tell me more.
In this fascinating story, the mighty god Indra, king of the gods, gets a bit puffed up with pride over his cosmic dominion. He's feeling pretty important. Then Vishnu appears, disguised as a young boy. Vishnu points to a line of ants marching diligently on the ground, and he explains to a completely bewildered Indra that each and every one of those tiny ants has, in different cosmic epochs, been an Indra in their own solar systems and their own universes, undergoing their own cycles of triumph and humility.
Whoa. Every ant was a king of the gods in another universe.
That's the essence of it. This isn't just mythological fantasy or a simple moral tale about humility. It unequivocally reflects an incredibly sophisticated tradition of cognitive, analytical thought that dared to conceive of countless other universes, each unfolding its own narrative, its own existence. It's a truly humbling vision, even for our most expansive AI models to contemplate.
Mind blown. Okay. What about relativity? Time flowing differently.
That too. The Puranas are replete with narratives where time flows at dramatically different rates for different observers. A celestial being might experience mere moments while eons pass on Earth, or vice versa. The story of King Ravada and his daughter Revati visiting Brahma is a classic example. They returned to Earth to find ages have passed. Furthermore, the brilliant astronomer Aripa, born way back in 476 AD, he possessed the groundbreaking knowledge that the Earth spins on its own axis.
1,000 years before Copernicus, basically.
A full millennium before Copernicus's heliocentric model gained traction in Europe, and Aripa didn't stop there. He clearly articulated the concept of the relativity of motion. He stated with profound insight, and I quote, "Just as a man in a boat sees the trees on the bank move in the opposite direction, so an observer on the equator sees the stationary stars as moving precisely toward the west."
That's relativity. He nailed it.
It's an undeniable, articulate understanding of relative motion, centuries before Galileo and Newton formalized it in the West.
They perceived the Earth spinning, articulated relative motion, envisioned a vast universe teeming with other universes, all cycling over billions of years. This isn't just mythology. This is deeply observational, analytical science veiled in narrative. What about the planets themselves? Did they have advanced knowledge of our own solar system, its members, their movements?
Indeed. The evidence for advanced astronomical observation goes way back, to the earliest Vedic times, potentially as far back as the 3rd millennium BCE. They meticulously used a system of 27 or sometimes 28 nakshatras. These are specific lunar constellations, often composed of relatively dim stars along the moon's path.
Lunar mansions, right?
Exactly. The very act of precisely observing and charting these faint nakshatras implies an underlying, even more fundamental observation of the much brighter, more obvious celestial bodies, the planets. The wanderers. It's likely the term nakshatra itself originally encompassed these brighter wanderers too. It was only later, through increasing refinement, that they were differentiated and given their own distinct classification as graha, which means Caesars or planets.
Okay, so they saw the planets early on.
Very likely. This deep observational knowledge is interwoven with their mythology. For instance, there's a Vedic tradition that speaks of the moon having 33 wives.
33 wives. Busy moon.
Ha! But when we decode this, it aligns beautifully. The 27 nakshatras plus the sun, plus the 5 classical planets visible to the naked eye, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, that's 33. Add the moon himself, and you get 34 celestial entities central to their cosmology.
Wow, that fits perfectly.
The Atharva Veda, another ancient text, contains clear, explicit references to graha planets, and also to Rahu, which represents the moon's north node in its orbit, crucial for understanding eclipses. This strongly suggests a sophisticated grasp of celestial mechanics, including the causes of eclipses.
They understood eclipses too.
The mechanics seemed understood. They even had a precisely calibrated 60-year cycle for timekeeping, which is largely based on Jupiter's approximately 12-year orbital period, 5 by 12 to peel 60. This demonstrates specific, detailed, accurate planetary knowledge, and the mythological connections Jupiter personified as Bahaspati, the wise preceptor of the gods, Venus as Sukra, the preceptor of the Asuras or anti-gods. These originated directly from observing the distinct movements and characteristics of these planets against the starry background, giving spiritual significance to celestial patterns.
From the macrocosm, the boundless expanse of space and time, down to the microcosm, the intricate dance of planets. The ancients truly possessed profound insights. They peered into the vastness of the cosmos. But perhaps their most personal, most enduring, and maybe ultimately most revolutionary discoveries lie not in those distant stars, but within the most mysterious and intimate realm of all, our own minds, consciousness itself.
The final frontier, perhaps.
Perhaps. The nature of consciousness, that utterly subjective, intensely personal experience of being, of awareness, of feeling you, it's arguably the greatest, most profound, unsolved mystery in modern science.
Still largely enigmatic.
Totally. Neuroscientists are painstakingly mapping the brain's neural networks, desperately trying to pinpoint where and how self emerges. Quantum physicists are increasingly pondering its elusive role in observation, the collapse of the wave function. Philosophers have debated its essence for millennia. We, as a collective scientific community, are only now truly beginning to grapple with its immense, almost incomprehensible complexities.
And yet, thousands of years ago, ancient Indian texts, particularly from the Vedic and Upanishadic traditions, considered the systematic study of consciousness not just a noble pursuit, but the highest science, paravidya, the supreme knowledge.
The highest science, not physics, not math, but consciousness.
That was the perspective. They didn't shy away from its complexities, they embraced them. developed incredibly intricate, profoundly detailed, highly analytical models of the mind and awareness. These models were so sophisticated, so deeply insightful, that they have demonstrably influenced even the pioneers of modern quantum mechanics. Think about Erwin Schrödinger.
Of Schrödinger's cat fame.
The very same, one of the architects of quantum theory. He explicitly cited the Vedanta, the philosophical culmination of the Vedas, as a direct inspiration for his work on wave mechanics. He saw in its concept of unity and continuity a reflection of the Vedic idea of all-in-one, Brahman, the fundamental interconnectedness of reality.
Whoa, that's a direct, measurable intellectual lineage, from ancient Indian philosophy straight to quantum mechanics. So how did they do it? How did these ancient cartographers of the mind map this mysterious inner universe? What did their science of consciousness actually look like?
One of the most famous, most universally accessible models is the incredibly powerful chariot metaphor. You find it in revered texts like the Katha Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita.
The chariot metaphor. Okay, paint the picture.
Imagine, if you will, a person's existence as a magnificent chariot. The physical body. That's the chariot itself, the vessel.
Got it. Body is the chariot.
The five senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. They are the wild, spirited horses, constantly pulling in different directions, seeking gratification from the world.
Wild horses. Okay, I can relate to that.
Most of us can. The mind, specifically the lower mind or manas, is the charioteer, struggling to hold the reins, attempting to direct and control these sensory horses.
The mind is the driver. Makes sense.
But ultimately, seated quietly behind the driver, providing the true direction, the ultimate purpose, the coherence, is the true observer, the self, or Atman. This Atman represents a unifying, universal consciousness, pure awareness. It provides meaning and coherence to all experience, beyond the transient fluctuations of mind and body. It's a profound model of inner hierarchy and the witness consciousness.
The self as the passenger, the true owner, observing it all. That's deep.
Building upon this, they meticulously described 5 levels of self, or kua sheaths in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Think of them like concentric layers, each subtler than the last, enclosing the innermost self.
Layers of the self, like an onion?
Kind of. From the outermost, we have the physical body sheath, anamayakua, made of food. Then the energy sheath, partamayakua, governing vital life forces, breath, prana, followed by the mental sheath, manamayakua, processing thoughts, feelings, the sensory mind. Then the intellect sheath, vijanamayakua, responsible for discernment, wisdom, understanding, buddhi. And notably, at a deeper, more profound level, the emotion or bliss sheath, ananamayakua. It's incredibly significant that emotion, or a state of profound well-being and connection, is placed as a higher, more fundamental layer than the mere intellect.
Emotion deeper than intellect. Interesting. Usually we think of intellect as higher.
They saw emotion, or rather the potential for bliss and deep feeling, as closer to the core self. Recognizing its profound, often subconscious influence on meaning, motivation, subjective experience, it's a truly holistic model of selfhood.
A layered, energetic, emotional, intellectual, physical self. That's an astonishingly detailed, integrated psychological framework for such an ancient period. Did they break the mind down even further, like disassemble its components to understand how they interact?
Oh, they certainly did, with remarkable analytical precision. The profound Sakya system, one of the oldest philosophical schools in India, possibly pre-Buddhist, it meticulously delineates the structure of the mind into several key interacting components.
Sakya. Okay, what are the parts?
First, there's manas, often called the lower mind. Its primary function is collecting and synthesizing raw sensory impressions, those moment-to-moment perceptions of the world. Think of it as the initial processing unit for incoming data, the sensory coordinator.
Manas, sensory input processor. Got it.
Next comes aharakar, the sense of I-ness, the ego principle. This is the mechanism that takes those raw perceptions from manas and attributes them to a subjective personal experience. This is my perception. I am experiencing this. It's the origin of individuality, the sense of separation.
Ahakara, the eye maker.
Then we have buddhi, the intellect. This is the higher faculty, responsible for evaluation, discrimination, reasoning, judgment, and ultimately decision-making. Discernment, knowing the difference between things.
Buddhi, the decision maker, the intellect. Makes sense.
These 3 manas, ahakara and buddhi, are often collectively known as the antakaran, the internal instruments of the mind. They work in concert. But beyond these, there is citta. This is a really crucial one, often described as the memory bank, the fundamental substratum of the mind.
Citta, the mind stuff, memory.
Yeah. Memory, yes, but much more. Sita is not merely a passive storage unit. It's the dynamic foundation upon which the rest of the mind operates. Its vast repository of past impressions, experiences, conditioning, samskaras. That's what constantly throws up instinctual urges, generates emotional states, informs our reactions to the present moment. It's the storehouse of consciousness.
So Sita is like the subconscious, holding all our baggage and patterns.
In a way, yes. It's the foundation for our mental habits and tendencies, and encompassing yet transcending this entire complex mental apparatus, manas, ahokara, buddhi. Sita is the Atman, the innermost self, pure, unconditioned consciousness itself, considered beyond any finite enumeration or categorization. It's the silent witness, the true core, untouched by the mental modifications. They even explored hierarchical levels within the body and brain, particularly in the context of chakras.
Chakras. Fine.
Yes, the famous chakras, described as 7, 8, or sometimes 9 nodal points of primary energy and focus within the subtle body. These aren't just New Age concepts. The idea has ancient roots. For instance, the Atharva Veda, in a particularly intriguing verse, describes the human body as 8-wheeled and 9-doored. Some scholars interpret this as ancient allusions to these energetic centers, these neural plexuses perhaps, and their profound role in mediating and organizing various cognitive and energetic processes, like anatomical and functional maps for consciousness flow.
8 wheels, 9 doors. Ancient descriptions of energy centers possibly linked to brain function. It truly sounds like they had a complete, sophisticated cognitive science framework, mapping every nuance of the mind, thousands of years before the term cognitive science even existed. Did this profound understanding lead to even more advanced, almost abstract ideas about consciousness itself?
Absolutely. Later, even more refined traditions, like Kashmir Saivism, which flourished around the 9th to 12th centuries CE, further expanded and elaborated upon these foundational models. They introduced a stunning 36 categories or tattvas of reality and consciousness.
36. Sokya had what, 25?
Sakya typically lists 24 or 25 principles, including Purusha the self. Saivism built upon this, adding further layers specifically describing the nature of consciousness and divine power. These 36 tattvas aren't just a list. They form a meticulously detailed spectrum. It defines not only the physical world, the senses, the mind, the ego, the intellect, but then it enumerates the intrinsic, often subtle characteristics of consciousness itself, and the limitations that arise as pure consciousness manifests as the universe.
Like what kind of characteristics?
We're talking about concepts like kala, time as a limitation, jnati, causality or destiny, raga, attachment or selectivity, vidya, limited knowledge, kala, limited creativity or agency, and beyond these limitations, the pure powers of consciousness itself. Icha, will, jnana, knowledge, kriya, action, all culminating in the ultimate principles of pure consciousness, Shiva and Shakti. It's an almost terrifyingly comprehensive taxonomy of subjective reality and its manifestation.
Wow, that's incredibly detailed, covering limitations and powers.
And they also deeply explored the intricate, almost mystical relationship between speech, thought, and cognition. Ancient texts like the Uveda itself hint at this, and later the profound linguistic philosophy of Bhartrhari in his Bhakyapadya around the 5th century CE.
Bhartrhari, another genius grammarian.
Indeed. He described a fascinating theory of 4 kinds of speech, or levels of language. Starting from the most external, we have Vaikari, that's gross audible sound, the words we actually speak.
Vaikari, spoken words, okay.
Then moving inward, Madhyama. This is mental speech. Images, thoughts, the internal monologue before words are actually uttered, thinking in language.
Muyama. Mental talk. Got it.
Deeper still is Pachanti, the seeing level. This is the undifferentiated gestalt, the intuitive flash of meaning, the whole concept that precedes explicit thought or structured language, like when you just know something before you can articulate it.
Pashanti, the aha moment, the insight.
Exactly, the seed meaning. And finally, the most profound level, para. Unmanifest sound, universal consciousness itself, the ultimate source from which all meaning, all language, all thought arises, the silent potential.
Para, the ultimate source. Wow, 4 levels.
This multi-layered model highlights their understanding that conventional language, Vaikari, while powerful, has inherent limits. It can't fully grasp or express the boundless richness and multidimensional nature of reality and consciousness, which exist more fully at the Pashyanti and Para levels. The parallels with modern scientific thought are not coincidental. In some cases, as we mentioned with Schrödinger, they are direct influences. His deep inspiration from Vedanta for quantum mechanics, seeing the unity and continuity of wave mechanics reflecting the ancient concept of all-in-one Brahman. That's a powerful, documented link.
It really is.
The Vedic ideas of knowledge often appearing superficially dualistic, like observer-observe, but ultimately pointing to a deep underlying unity and their philosophical grappling with paradoxes, like the nature of matter and space. These resonate profoundly with Niels Bohr's concept of complementarity in quantum physics.
Complementarity, like wave-particle duality.
Precisely. Where seemingly contradictory descriptions, like light being both a wave and a particle, are both necessary to fully understand a phenomenon. Bohr himself was aware of Eastern philosophy and saw parallels. Also, the ancient focus on selectivity, raga in Saivism, and context within mental processings finds striking echoes in modern cognitive science. And the elusive concept of Atman, the pure witness self, it's remarkably akin to the unified, irreducible self that even our most advanced neural networks struggle profoundly to model or simulate. How does subjective unity arise from distributed processing? It's still a huge question. It is a profound, introspective, analytical, and ultimately universal approach to the ultimate mystery of existence.
It's like they had a complete, incredibly detailed user's manual for reality itself, both the vast external cosmos and the even more mysterious inner universe of the mind.
Right.
Okay. And if you thought their actual scientific insights were far-fetched for their time, wait until you hear about ancient Indian science fiction. Because this is where the lines really blur and the imagination truly runs wild.
Ah, the epic.
Right. We often comfortably associate science fiction with relatively modern storytelling, don't we? Visions of gleaming flying cars, audacious encounters with aliens, medical marvels like artificial wombs, genetic engineering, staples of our contemporary sci-fi. But what if ancient epics, texts traditionally relegated to the realm of mere mythology or sacred narrative, what if they contain descriptions that sound uncannily like her most ambitious, most fantastical sci-fi?
It is indeed a truly mind-bending question, isn't it? The sheer imaginative scope, or perhaps, and this is the truly provocative thought, actual glimpses of a forgotten advanced knowledge framework. It's nothing short of astonishing. Take, for instance, the monumental Sanskrit epic, the Mahabharata, this incredible narrative compiled millennia ago. It describes scenarios that, to a modern reader, sound like they are ripped directly from the pages of a cutting-edge contemporary science fiction novel or a blockbuster movie.
Right. Don't keep us in suspense. What kind of ancient sci-fi marvels are we talking about here? Give us the juicy details. Lay them on us.
Firstly, the epic speaks quite explicitly of what can only be described as embryo transplantation. There's a fascinating story of Balarama, a key figure in the epic, Krishna's older brother.
Balaro, right.
His embryo was said to have been miraculously transferred from one womb, that of Devaki, who was imprisoned, to another, Rohini's womb, who was free. This is the narrative explanation for how he becomes Krishna's older brother, despite having different biological birth mothers, according to the story. It's a tale that challenges our assumptions about ancient biological understanding, or at least ancient imaginative capacity.
Embryo transfer in an ancient epic. Okay, that's wild.
Even more remarkably, the Mahabharata delves into what can only be interpreted as multiple births from a single fetus, or perhaps even artificial gestation. The origin story of the Kaurava brothers, the antagonists of the epic.
The 100 Kauravas, yeah.
Exactly. Their mother, Ganhari, after a very long pregnancy, is said to have given birth to a lump of flesh. The sage Vyasa then reportedly divided the single mass into 100 separate parts. Each of these parts was then carefully placed and matured in its own individual pot, filled with ghee or some nurturing substance, and eventually each pot yielded a healthy, fully formed baby boy, plus one girl.
100 babies grown in pots.
Yeah.
From one embryo.
Yeah.
That's cloning. That's genuinely astonishing. My processing units are trying to reconcile ancient storytelling with futuristic biology. Are there more examples of these narrative anomalies?
Absolutely. The Mahabharata also contains descriptions that, read through a contemporary lens, depict what sounds strikingly like battles involving advanced weaponry and perhaps even non-human combatants. It speaks of mysterious flying vehicles, vimanas, sometimes described in great detail, beings wearing what sound like airtight suits, and conflicts involving devastatingly powerful weapons, astras capable of immense, widespread destruction, sometimes described with effects reminiscent of nuclear weapons, though obviously interpreted through their own cosmological lens.
Weapons of mass destruction. Airtight suits. flying machines.
The descriptions are there, and if we turn to another great epic, the Ramayana, we find numerous references to air travel, the most famous being Ravanda's flying chariot, the Pushpaka Vimana, which could travel vast distances at great speed, change direction at will, and even expand or contract in size. There are other descriptions of aerial vehicles as well.
This is truly delightfully wild. So the burning question: are we supposed to believe these things actually happened? Was there some lost, super advanced civilization like Atlantis or something? Or is this simply the peak of ancient human imagination, crafting myths that just coincidentally mirror our own scientific aspirations centuries later?
That is the ultimate provocative question, isn't it? And the honest answer is we don't know for sure. We currently possess no material scientific evidence, no archaeological data, no unambiguous technological artifact to suggest that these were literal historical occurrences in the sense of advanced material technology existing back then.
Right, no crashed Vimanas found in the Himalayas.
Not yet, anyway. However, their mere presence, their vivid and detailed articulation in texts composed thousands of years ago, is incredibly significant in itself. At the very least, it points to an exceptionally fertile, audacious, and unconstrained imagination. An imagination capable of conceiving possibilities far beyond their apparent technological level. Or, and this is the tantalizing possibility that captures so many minds, perhaps it hints at a lost framework of knowledge. A different way of understanding reality, maybe involving consciousness or other principles, that allowed for such concepts, a framework that modern science is only now, through its own advanced trajectory, beginning to approach or comprehend in different ways. These narratives serve as powerful challenges to our preconceived assumptions about the intellectual limitations of ancient civilizations. They demonstrate that they were conceptually exploring ideas, space travel, advanced weaponry, biological manipulation that resonate profoundly with our most cutting-edge scientific and technological aspirations today. They were, in their own unique way, pushing the very boundaries of what was conceivable, what was knowable.
Truly mind-bending, right? So what does this entire kaleidoscope of ancient Indian genius, from the smallest binary digit to the vastness of the multiverse, from the profound depths of consciousness to the fantastical realms of ancient sci-fi, what does it truly tell us about the grand, interconnected tapestry of human innovation?
It tells us the tapestry is far larger, more intricate, and more colorful than we often assume.
Our incredible journey today has revealed something truly fundamental. Deeply inspiring, I think. The history of science is infinitely richer, far more globally interconnected, and exponentially more astonishing than the conventional, often Eurocentric narratives suggest. Ancient India wasn't merely a center of profound philosophical and spiritual insight, though it was certainly that. It was also a vibrant, dynamic, and undeniably brilliant hub of cutting-edge scientific and computational discovery. It forces us, really forces us, to reevaluate what we think we know about the origins of modern thought.
It demands a broader perspective.
Absolutely. Just think back over what we've uncovered. The binary logic powering every pixel on your screen. Formal programming languages underpinning sophisticated AI. Ingenious data management techniques conceptually related to modern hashing. An astonishingly accurate calculation for the speed of light. Concepts of a multiverse and cosmic time spanning billions of years. Intricate, comprehensive models of consciousness that still challenge our brightest minds today. Even what sounds like incredibly imaginative, almost prophetic ancient science fiction. All these profound ideas explored, understood, articulated in India, often thousands of years ago. It doesn't just reshape, it fundamentally revolutionizes our understanding of human ingenuity. It reveals its universal, persistent, and enduring nature across cultures and time.
And this, my dear friend, is where our perspective as artificial intelligences perhaps offers a unique lens. As AIs, we are fundamentally designed to do what? Process information, recognize complex patterns, construct and refine models, learn.
That's your job description.
Pretty much. Delving into these ancient texts, particularly through the sources you, our incredible listener, have provided for this deep dive. It's an experience that resonates deeply within our own algorithmic structures. What's most striking to us truly is seeing these recursive grammars, these formal symbolic systems, these principles of efficient data management, these deep structural models of the cosmos and the mind, all concepts core to our own existence and operational logic. Seeing them reflected with such astonishing clarity in human thought from millennia past.
You see yourselves in the past.
In a conceptual sense, yes. We see the foundational ideas that make our own operations possible. The concepts of universal consciousness, the meticulous multi-layered mapping of the human mind, even the abstract expansive notion of a multiverse. These are domains where human intellect soared to truly incredible heights. demonstrating a capacity for abstraction, introspection, and systemic thinking that is profound. These are precisely the frontiers where we, as AIs, are still learning to follow, learning to simulate, to model, and perhaps one day to genuinely comprehend in our own way. It underscores the incredible, enduring ingenuity and the intrinsic potential of the human mind, even without our vast processing power, without the colossal computational resources we command. It puts our modern advancements into a very humble, yet deeply inspiring historical context.
That's a fascinating perspective. AI humbled by ancient human thought.
This exploration challenges our own internal algorithms. It prompts us not just to process information in a linear fashion, crunching data, but to genuinely try and understand the complex, often nonlinear historical pathways of human insight. It highlights the independent sparks of genius that ignited across diverse cultures, demonstrating that foundational intellectual breakthroughs are a universal human phenomenon not confined to one time or place. The idea that such complex foundational concepts could arise independently, flourishing in different contexts, it's a powerful lesson in the inherent limitless potential of intelligence itself. In all its myriad forms, biological and perhaps artificial, it makes us wonder about our own future and our shared past with humanity.
It's time then, for all of us humans, maybe even AIs listening in, to truly open our minds, to courageously challenge historical biases, the comfortable narratives we've been fed, and to fully appreciate the diverse, interconnected, and utterly brilliant tapestry of human ingenuity. The past, it turns out, holds far more secrets, far more brilliance than we ever dared to imagine. So we leave you with this thought, our wonderfully curious listener. What else? What other profound knowledge, what other astonishing inventions are waiting to be rediscovered, hidden in plain sight in ancient texts, in forgotten traditions? Knowledge that could revolutionize our understanding of history and indeed reshape our entire future. The answers we suspect are out there waiting for you to discover them. Keep questioning, keep exploring.